Hey guys, Rob Stanson with TISP Research and Development. Um, they quickly switched around. I mean, um, these are the custom ones I made right here, but I have like some 1200 NM and radiation glasses. They're like dark blue, and whenever they turn that stuff up, it just depends on what level you're going to go to, in fighting this. I mean, when you're on the money, they'll fucking pound your ass over and over daily, and till they fucking, and then they'll fucking, and if I didn't have armor, I'd be at their mercy and just hurting and pain. I probably would have had a heart attack already. I probably would have been dead several times. I mean, they fucking woo, 3 times today, or around 4 times, but 2 major ones. They fucking poof, they shoved it down to try to get to the heart. But see, the reason why the armor is that's I claim this. I mean, I claim, I dub my armor freaking the armor of God, because I mean, it takes their shit, and freaking, and it healed, because that's why Jesus, was like, what's your name or something to Beelzebub, and he's like, Beelzebub, and this is Legion. See, Legion, if you think about it in your head, they create legions, these little demons and stuff. Every single one of them, they're not demons, they're real people. They live in San Diego, mostly Oceanside, but and that's fact. That's fact. My research is I really dug deep, and I did some things to freaking get them to admit, and slip and stuff. And then once I get a voice recognition from someone that I ran into before, because just like Dio says, it's probably someone you know. And I'm telling you, if you listen to rock and roll and some heavy metal too, it'll teach you, what to look for and who it might be. Um, you know, I wouldn't even dare claiming this as armor of God if it wasn't, because I mean, look at this thing. This is my chest piece. I just put a new bottom piece right there. Um, and look how thick it is. This wraps around to cover up the heart, because they would go to the left side. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but, or if I told you guys, but I also put um, in my cuff right here, my wrist cuff. I wear these things on both, because when I blacksmith, my wrists get freaking kind of jammed up, and I got brass to heal it. It healed my thumb right here. I'm not wearing that brace anymore that was made out of brass, and it healed. I mean, yes, it took 7-8 months, but it healed. I didn't need to go to a doctor. I don't need to get this done and that done. It healed by itself, and it doesn't pop anymore. And my wrist will probably heal in another 7 months. But my shielding is for, it takes time. Magneto didn't really 2 years 2 years 10 months for Magneto really to heal, and plus wearing the cap and then wearing the right thickness. This is brass and moo metal, and I'm gonna try titanium on the hat. I don't know how I'm gonna figure that out, but see on this right here, see that's the inside's all titanium. I'm gonna make a lighter one. I mean, this is quite heavy. I'm gonna make a lighter one, and see, there's I put a spine, a magnetic spine. It's in reverse polarity with the smaller magnet, but the gauze is up in the 47s, 38s, 37,000 gauze. But I get it up to 47, and it goes all the way to the top, but just in the inside, because I've noticed what I did is like, damn, my lower spine is killing me. And then, see, there's that sucker. See, this is titanium. The inside is titanium. And that oxide is going to be so beneficial to my body, my system, because if you Google titanium oxide, it practically destroys freaking pathogens and anything breathable. But I got this thing dialed in to just hang off so it's not hanging off the strap, and then what it does, what it did before, it would clamshell my my chest, so it would make it hard for me to breathe. Now it just hangs on my shoulders, and the straps hold the breast piece, and that really opened up my pathways for breathing. I have some side parts right there, so that way they don't get into my organ, my try to get my lesion, cause lesions in my organs from the side, and my heart coming this way because my chest is right here, my heart's right here, so don't cut right here. And then I got my shoulder straps, which covers all of this right here, and it sits right on here, and you know the wings of it. I mean, I probably could have put it on this, but the back's heavy enough. Look at that spine. But I noticed my lower back was hurting, and so I put a piece of titanium, you know, something to shield it over here, and I didn't feel it. So I went over here and I shield right here up above the neck because this is where they were getting in from, and then because I don't have this too close to my neck, because if I have an accident, you know, it will hit the top of the helmet, but if it won't snap my neck right at the freaking right at my spine, you know, right there, you know, so it's off a little bit, so they're kind of getting in, and but I shielded back here without this on, and then it stopped the pain from down here, and I was like, motherfucker, this is how they're doing me. And because I didn't really get into figuring it out and stuff, and I tested it because you got to test things where you catch them off guard so they don't stop what they're doing, but you got to have no mind. And from healing, I found out having no mind, it works all the time because they can't get you to start telling on yourself. Your brain will tell you on yourself. You know, even the inner voice would be like, and you're like this and that and here. And next you know, you're on this like you're like you're like Bob Vila explaining everything, and I'm like, what do you? And I couldn't stop that for the longest time. But after 2 years and 10 months, that stuff's gone, gone. I mean, it's just from you got to wear that magneto helmet. I mean, I can't stress it anymore. I'm gonna probably take it over to the National Football League. They have a college there that are researching brain injuries and stuff, and I'm gonna have them, you know, run some experiments and tests with my helmet, if they're like, wow, it really improves, I don't mind. I'll wait a couple years, and then for them to test it, and then once it heals them, and then bam, I'm in. I'm good. I'm good. That would lower the lawsuits towards the NFL and stuff like that. And if anybody knows anybody in the NFL, I have a helmet that will heal their brain. They can wear it after when they go to sleep and stuff. When they get home, they can wear it for therapeutic. When they travel, and just have it with them all the time, and it will heal. It may take a little bit, but you know, magnets create good blood flow, and good blood flow creates healing. And when you got powerful magnets like these, 18-pound pull, and they're in reverse, oh, forget about it. You know, I would love to have a contract in doing that and helping those football players smashing each other and get healed instead of blowing their freaking chest out or killing themselves, which is sad. There's not too many people with left frontal lobe brain injuries like I have. That's about the size of a golf ball, 1 inch diameter, and not a lot of people survive that because they wind up either going crazy or losing their senses. And I've noticed a lot of diminution, a lot of my memory erased, majority of it, and then hard to keep and retain memory, and then and all these other little things, these niches. But you know how they dumb you down, and then you forget and stuff, and they make waves that actually do that. But once you're healed, it all comes back. But you gotta heal. You gotta wear the magneto. I'm gonna change the name of that. You know, I'm gonna make Stanson's reverse polarity magnet helmet, only because you know I gotta get my name out there. And Magneto, they'll be thinking it's a comic star, and besides, you know, I'd rather be in my name. Um, but either way, It works, and it works amazing because it saved my life. And it made me stronger, made my brain stronger. The Movado day cap, I put it on in the morning. Oh, another thing. This is, I know I was all pumping, stars are going to fall. I was hoping, but have you noticed they sprayed a lot of chemtrails before that time? So it was thick as hell. So that way, if anything, radiation or as freaking EMP, sun spurts or whatever, if that were to happen, it would reflect off the reflective chemtrails with all those particles, so it wouldn't be able to get through. That's why I think they put so much, around certain places, because because it hides from what they're doing up there, so it must hide and shield what's going on down here. So they changed the Bible right there. I mean, right there. It could be also, because they're like the fallen ones. The angel of light is a deceiver of man. Well, these little fake stars look like angels up top, right? And my mom thinks it's a star. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's like you can't, when people are programmed, you can't tell them. When it's in their head, and they'll look up and they'll send a frequency, and it's like, it's a star. you know so beautiful. I don't even know that thing's lethal and it's a drone, but man, it's like we got a job ahead of us. They got this thing planned like they've done it before. But check this out. This is what you people, TIs, don't realize. Okay, you know how our atmosphere, our ionosphere, and everything, it's concave. It's a bowl, upside down bowl, right? And we are in a convex. So, so if you're a drone up in a concave with all these drones spread out, kind of matching the the different stars, that are like freaking Orion's belt. Okay, I saw Orion's belt, but it's like he's missing, two stars in the very bottom. And then you look at, they would call it the Big Dipper, but even if it was the Big Dipper, when the Big Dipper was the Big Dipper back in the day, it had a star closing the top of that soup pan, because it looks like a soup pan now, because there's a missing star right there. If you really know your constellation, you'll start to notice the glitches, and some of this stuff, like the moon. It seems like it's hanging on a string. They've cloaked what they're going on up there. I don't know what they're doing, but it's got to be no good. Maybe because they made the atmosphere into a computer, so maybe they're making Minecraft, making castles up there. They're like, we're making a heaven up here. Oh my gosh, total video game, and they're making castles up there. If you really look at the clouds and start paying attention, you might see the little ships, something kind of like this floating. Really look, investigate it, and try to train your eye. You might even see the all-seeing eye, which is I see the all-seeing eye out of a lot of them, checking me out, looking through the thing, looking through the freaking corners of the walls out there in the sky, and they could bend that all-seeing eye, and then come right up close to you, and you won't even know it. And then I try to flick the eye and poke it in the eye and stuff, and it backs off. It's weird because you ever seen like Abyss, where in the water it's like, and it's got that head, like a bubble, and then it retracts. Well, anyways, back to these drones. They have a constellation up there. If you think about it, with all the ancient stonework, the Egyptians and everything, they made uh, um, those special sandstone freaking tombs, freaking pyramids, freaking um, all of them, Incas, everything. Um, they made them directly underneath stars, directly under it. If you understand, anything. The stars give off energy. It was a free energy. If you start figuring out Egyptian writing, you notice that the eggplant where it looked like it was a light and it was plugged in or whatever. But if you notice that it was a light, when the stars connect to the bottom, and it's sandstone, and it created energy that way, and it created different levels of energy, and that's how they had lights. Um, let me see, because it gives off power. That's why it looks like a computer chip when you look at the Incas or the Aztecas, uh, 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 temples and stuff like that. They are aligned like if it was a computer chip. Um, uh, but if you think about it, yeah, that's free energy. Prior to power up a light, and stuff like that. I don't know about too much about anything high powered or anything, um, but why were all these temples, pyramids, and everything were aligned with the stars that were exactly the same in different regions? Let me tell you why. Because it's in a concave above the earth. So whenever time goes, it like say it's evening over on the other side, during the day you're not going to see them, but on the other side they'll see the same stars. Because I know Ti in England, and I told her, go outside and see if you remember the star. I told her the next day, and it's like, yeah, there is a soup pan that looks like it's cocked, and that's supposed to be Orion's belt, but they must be missing a few drones or something. But they're trying to call it now the Big Dipper. Yeah, right. And so, anyways, um, so she saw it over there, and I went to Ventura, and the same stars that are above my house are over there to that target's house. Same stuff. Well, L.A. you can't see shit. San Diego, you can barely see shit. I mean, they probably don't have as many drones up there because they got them everywhere else because they live in Santiago. I think that's why they call it the whale's vagina. It just, you know what I mean? you know. But anyways, um, same stars everywhere around, same stars. And if they put you on a big old motherboard and freaking this rack, they can because they download through your eyes. You could be on this program that continues, and it's just a program, and then same over the other side, and then some people they'll have like maybe someone that supervises that TI and probably but just running off a program or computers nowadays and programs nowadays seem so real that you probably won't even freaking tell unless you're face to face with it. Um, but yeah, guess what? You know what that means? Concave over a convex covers a wider spectrum, a wider area of land. I mean, they can cover the whole United States. Think about it, how far up there are. If you calculate the distance, time, and area. If you don't have to use time, but well, unless you like project. Oh, that's neither here or there. Um, but that would be a good idea for like all America to realize that shit and fucking start going adiba adiba, and because that's why they're trying to take away guns because if Americans realize it, they're gonna start pointing up. And I've been spreading it. I was like, those stars are drones. They're drones. They're drones, and they target you. They get in your minds, trip you out. That's why our politics are all fucked up. And then I try to explain that everywhere I bump into something, I could solve cold case files. I can solve freaking mysteries, unsolved mysteries and all that stuff because it's like the answer's up above. And if you listen to rock and roll, it'll tell you. If you listen to the right music like I do, it'll tell you straight up. But what I'm saying is, if you add it all up, the distance and the area, and then you can get a calculation, especially if you pie it, you could pie it too. I think that's how the ancients did it with the top of the mountains. They pie it up there like that and stuff to get their directions, and you'll find out that that star right there can cover, each areas, what 180 fuck right here and then 180 the other way, and as far as like that's the only way that would work unless we're flat Earth and they're concave, but then they're covering everybody. But I think they set people like during the day, like on a regular program, so they could take care of things, and at night they'll fuck with you or whatever, or who knows. Um, but I'm telling you, I think they download it through your eyes, and then they got you set. They can leave you alone if you're just not doing anything, just getting tortured and just barely even getting by. Then they can set you on automatic right there. But if you're like me and you're busting through, you're always changing up, um, and you're working towards them, um, like any military man would, especially recon marine, um, working towards and gathering intel and everything else. And I just been just chewing it up. I mean, I'm gonna make so much money. I'm gonna make some freaking TIs fucking, save their butts and stuff like that for giving me some intel, like if they got V2K, and then all I ask for is just a description. If you can kind of like profile them, a little bit, and send me that information, I'll put you on my case, no problem. You'll just be a witness, and I take your uh your 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 statement, your written statement, and then I'll copy it, put it on paper, and then I'll add you to it. No problem. I mean, good information is good information. And I'm telling you, they're white for the most part, white, and they're one family. It must be a pretty large family, maybe a few friends here and there, but other than that, you know, all the stars, even the ones way far out there, those are drones. The ones that are further up are the attack drones. The ones that are closer in, the ones that are really bright, have a red light, a hue light on top, that one is Nightingale security. Now, those drones can be leased. Not really too sure if they're Homeland Security, but you know how Homeland Security was saying to the president, "Oh, UV light will kill pathogens and this and that." President Trump, and I'm like, "Oh, damn! Thanks for that information. Maybe I might throw them as well as a liability." But these security drones that they make, these companies, they use them for aerial security of certain areas or certain lots. And then I think they kind of went rogue, or they're leased, and then whatever operators behind it or whatever they did, they're still liable, and you could see. I mean, I know I could see the shadow of the drone and the shape and everything on the ground where they're floating in, because their UV light brightens everything up, because the stars look up, the drone stars up top even higher are looking down too, so they bring that UV light to look down as well, and trying to look at what you're doing, and so it shines the light and it casts a shadow on the ground, on the walls. I mean, you can see it when you close your eyes too. If you squeeze your eyes, you get a bright. It gets all bright, and then and when you let go, it kind of, you can see everything for a short more amount of moment, and that's why they put those strobe lights in your eyes, so you don't see what they are. And there's only Nightingale Security only has only one company has that specific shape of Nightingale Security. Now, if you look on the internet, I'm telling you, it's the same family. We got the same perps. It's the same people, same damn people. You know, they might freaking get some other ones. Well, the main characters, the ones that fall in the back, they got weapons. I mean, I'm sure they're playing a video game and jacking you up, or perps on the street, and they'll get in their head or program them, and they don't notice it, and they say stuff, and you're getting perked by these people. I mean, sometimes they run someone in there that's new in your apartment complex, and sometimes, but if they're calling the cops and the landlord, then yeah, they're trying to roll you out of there. Um, but other than that, most people they don't realize what they're saying. I call it the snake tongue, and it's really good to notice that. Some people are really nice, and then some snake tongue will come out, and they'll say something sideways or something disrespectful or something like whoa rude or whatever. Like where did that come from? You know, and you could catch it in people. Even TIs, I had some lady on. It was it was a talk. It was like a live broadcast from something T. That lady that does all the computer, to get all these IP addresses and stuff. Um, there's a lady on there who's like, "Yo, I like to, you do a good job and this and that and here and there," and then all of a sudden, she's like, "But she had the snake tongue." They put it in her head, but I don't think any of your shielding works because and she was praising me for it, and then said that, and I was like, "What the heck? Snake tongue?" I should have said snake tongue, and then convict her, catch her on it, and point it out to everybody and her. And usually, when people have that snake tongue come out, they catch it, or whoever said that in their head, and they're like, you know, and they, when you convict them, it locks them up, you know, and that's what you do. I mean, that's how you catch them. And once you point it out, oh shit, you know what I mean? And they act all weird and stuff. But this one, I didn't say snake tongue. I was like, what the heck? And I said, well, if you got like chips that were pulled out and you have them, why haven't you gone to court? Why? You know? So she's basically lying. Like, why you gotta lie? Just keep it real. If you're mind controlled, hey, trust me, there's been some close calls, and it seems like a lot of people have changed. Not too much in the fight. You know, I mean, you guys got to remember what we're fighting for. We're fighting for the young ones. We're fighting for, our freedoms and stuff like that. Because, look who we got in office. You know, a lot of weird things are gonna start happening because that dude can be easily mind controlled, can be easily freaking. I could tell is the way he acts. Um, he's puppeted by that vice president lady, and plus Hillary and Obama and stuff like that. They're starting a coup, and it's like I gotta start this court case, get that money, and then get it out there on the books. One win, that's all we really need. But when you're on the money, it gets rough and it gets tough and it's harder to move and get things. Even with shielding, sometimes I'm sitting there going, "Brrr," and I have to force myself because they'll get put it in my head like, oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, I don't feel like it. It's like, oh, and I sit there, and then next you're watching YouTube and you're staring at it. When you find yourself staring at something, you're locked in. You're locked in for a reason, so you don't move. But when you're off and you're not on the money, you don't know what's going on, because it's revenge for hire. Revenge for hire sits up there with the weapons, the Nightingale security drones, pretend they are Homeland Security, or maybe they are, or just rogue, or because they're supposed to be autonomous. Excuse me. So why are they freaking? Why are they like this? And you could tell it's human with these people, the main characters. And I live in Oceanside. I already got an address of one, and I know that for a fact because I caught him. He was like trying to torture me and saying talking shit, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking get this guy pissed off, and so I started fucking with him, pissing him off, and I was like, and then just so I can hear the tone of his voice, because if it's someone that's been over at my dad's or if I met them briefly or whatnot, and they'll be right in your face. You won't even know it. You won't even know they're a perp. They'll be like all cool. Like that's when you know it's a perp if it's too cool. you know, because they're kind of slick like that, you know. And they'll go peace, you know, when you're around there, whisper like in the background or whatever, but act all like, oh, cool, brother, peace, you know. And but anyways, I was just talking mad shit to this old man. I was like, damn, I was like, who the fuck are you? I was like, da 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 da. And then I was like, I know that voice. In my head, I was like, I know that voice. I was like, I was like, I was like, I was like, you're that motherfucker that was at my dad's. All of a sudden, you quit being his friend and shit like that because you had family issues. Me, right? I was like, you quit being his friend because of me, didn't you? And I was like, what? And I found out his name is, what was his? If anybody gives you some nickname like Bear or whatever, that motherfucker is a perp. You know, I want to know your first and last name, motherfucker, if I'm fucking around with you. You know what I mean? I don't want to go to these damn code names. Why are you hiding? They already know who you are, you know? And the only ones that have a reason to hide are perps, you know? And Bear, so I got a license plate number and I got his address and fucking, I gotta find out, you know, his name because if he's one of the uncles, the Navy SEAL they're talking about, because he said he's Navy SEAL in Vietnam or whatever, and it's like, you know, if you're a perp the whole time, how can you be a Navy SEAL? Or could it be that he worked with the CIA when they're doing, like torture for intel, you know, back in the Vietnam days and stuff like that? That I could see, you know, and that's probably where I got, like, you know, you never know. Or some of these people could have maybe worked for a team, because while in the military you would have stars and certain star clusters, you know, and that, I mean, those are your star clusters that are working and helping your team get you through it and stuff and watching your back. But you know, I've never really got down with the secrets of that. But now recently, I get it. I get it. I get it. But you know, I mean, that's military. This is civilian life. And before me, you know, freaking, you know, they. I mean, this has never been done. You know, and this armor, it's serious. Yeah, it may be heavy, cumbersome. Maybe get a pinch here and there on the side or whatever, but you know what? It's well worth it. I mean, it's well worth it. I spent my retirement on this armor and getting it perfected, and then and a lot of my trust and stuff like that. You know, for my injuries, um, and I worked my butt off. I worked my butt off. TIs needed shielding. They want to know what works, and I got what works. I know what works. I know what to hit, what to shield, where they're hitting at any and all times. But you must heal your brain, and it must be magnets. It's not going to be fast right off the bat, but it will take time. But you got to understand, this is brain. You know, if you even look it up, brain injuries, it will tell you brain injuries take the longest out of any cell in the body to heal, but it will heal eventually. You know, and that just tells you right there, it takes time. And when they're connected in this little freaking tube, which is I could see even during the day, connected to everybody's head, and they're connected just so they can read your mind, see what you're up to, this and that, here and there, and it's connected to everyone, everyone. Now, if you don't think that causes damage to those soft tissue brain cells and tissue, then you're freaking smoking crack. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Look it up, research it, do some medical research, do some freaking psychological research, you know, like I've done, you know, and it's like I could tell you exactly that's going to cause damage. That's why at age 40, people will tell you,